Welcome to English Viral, the podcast where learning English is fun, easy, and super practical. And today we're going to talk about something incredibly important for every English learner: how to express your opinion in English.
Oh, yes. This is such a crucial topic, Iris. I remember when I first started learning English, I was so afraid to share my opinions. I didn't know the right phrases, and I worried about sounding too direct or too weak.
That's so relatable, Nolan. Many learners can understand English well, but when it comes to expressing their own thoughts and opinions, they freeze up. And that's such a shame because your opinions matter.
Exactly. Being able to share what you think is essential for participating in conversations, making decisions with others, and just being yourself in English.
That's right. And after today's lesson, you'll know exactly how to express your opinions confidently, whether you're chatting with friends, participating in a work meeting, or even debating a topic.
We'll learn how to give opinions politely and directly, how to agree and disagree without offending anyone, and how to ask others for their thoughts.
Before we start, we do have one tiny request, right, Nolan?
Oh, yes. Friends, if you're enjoying our lessons, please hit that subscribe button. Give this episode a big like and share it with someone who also wants to communicate more confidently in English.
Yes, and if you have any questions, leave a comment below. We read every single comment and we love hearing from you.
All right, Iris, I'm ready. Let's learn how to express opinions like native speakers.
Perfect. Let's dive in. Okay, Nolan, let me start with a question. Why do many English learners struggle to express their opinions?
I think there are several reasons. First, in some cultures, being very direct with your opinion is considered rude, so learners worry about sounding too aggressive in English.
That's a great point. Different cultures have different communication styles. Some are very direct, others are more indirect.
Second, learners often don't know the right phrases. They might think, I think is the only way to express an opinion, and it gets repetitive.
Yes, and third, there's fear of being wrong or sounding stupid. People worry that their opinion isn't good enough.
But here's the thing, friends. Your opinion is valuable. You don't need to be an expert to have thoughts and share them.
Absolutely. So let's start with the basics. What are the most common ways to introduce your opinion in English?
The most basic phrase everyone knows is I think. For example, I think this movie is great, or I think we should leave now.
Perfect. I think is simple and appropriate for most situations, but we need more variety. What else can we use?
You can say, in my opinion, from my perspective, in my view, the way I see it. If you ask me, personally, I believe.
Excellent. Let's break those down. In my opinion is slightly more formal than I think. You might use it in writing or more serious discussions.
From my perspective emphasizes that this is your viewpoint and others might see it differently.
The way I see it is more conversational and casual. It's great for friendly discussions.
And if you ask me suggests you're giving your view even if they didn't ask. It's quite casual and bold.
Haha, yes, use it with friends, not in formal settings. What about personally I believe?
That sounds more formal. Believe is stronger than think. When you say you believe something, you're quite convinced it's true.
So we have different phrases for different levels of formality. Now let's talk about expressing strong opinions versus tentative opinions.
Oh, yes. Sometimes you're absolutely certain and sometimes you're not so sure.
Right. For strong, confident opinions, you can say, I'm absolutely convinced that, I'm certain that, I firmly believe that, without a doubt, I'm sure that.
Those all sound very confident.
Yes, use them when you really believe something strongly. For example, I'm absolutely convinced that learning English opens up amazing opportunities.
Now, what about when you're less certain?
For tentative opinions, you can say, I tend to think that, it seems to me that, I get the impression that, I would say that, I suppose.
Those sound much more cautious.
Exactly. They show you're sharing a thought, but you're open to other perspectives. For example, I tend to think that remote work is more productive, but I understand not everyone agrees.
That's diplomatic. You're stating your view while acknowledging others might disagree.
Perfect. Now let's talk about agreeing with someone's opinion. This is just as important as expressing your own.
When someone shares an opinion you agree with, what can you say?
The simplest is just, I agree, but there are many ways to express agreement with different levels of enthusiasm.
For strong agreement, you can say, I completely agree. I absolutely agree. I couldn't agree more. Exactly. You're absolutely right.
I couldn't agree more is particularly strong. It means you agree 100%. What about more neutral agreement?
You can say, I agree with you. That's true. You have a point. That makes sense. Fair enough.
Fair enough sounds like you accept their point even if you're not enthusiastic about it.
Exactly. Now, what about disagreeing? This is where many learners get nervous.
Yes, disagreeing politely is an art form in English.
The key is to be respectful while still being honest. You can soften your disagreement with certain phrases.
For polite disagreement, you can say, I see your point, but I understand what you're saying. However, that's one way to look at it, but I respectfully disagree.
Notice how these phrases acknowledge the other person's viewpoint before disagreeing. That's crucial for politeness.
Right, you're showing respect by recognizing their perspective first. What about more direct disagreement?
Even when you strongly disagree, be respectful. You can say, I have to disagree with you there. I'm afraid I don't agree. Actually, I think differently.
I'm afraid I don't agree is particularly polite. The I'm afraid softens the disagreement.
What should we avoid when disagreeing?
Never say things like, you're wrong, or that's stupid, or that doesn't make sense. These sound aggressive and disrespectful.
Right. Focus on the idea, not the person. Say, I disagree with that idea, not you're wrong.
Now let's talk about expressing partial agreement. Sometimes you agree with part of what someone says, but not everything.
This happens all the time in real conversations.
For partial agreement, you can say, I agree with you up to a point, but that's partly true, however. You're right about that, but...
These are great for nuanced discussions.
Exactly. Now let's talk about asking others for their opinions.
The most basic question is, what do you think?
You can also ask, what's your opinion on this? How do you feel about this? What's your take on this? Do you have any thoughts?
What's your take is quite casual, right?
Yes, take is informal slang for opinion, great for casual conversations.
What if you want everyone's opinion in a group?
You can ask, does anyone have any thoughts on this? What does everyone think? I'd love to hear everyone's opinion.
These are great for meetings or group settings.
Now let's talk about common mistakes learners make when expressing opinions.
Learning from mistakes is so important.
Mistake number 1, using I think for everything. While it's not wrong, it gets repetitive. Vary your phrases.
Use in my view, from my perspective, I believe, etc.
Mistake number 2, being too direct when disagreeing. Saying no, you're wrong sounds rude in English.
Instead, say, I see it differently, or I'm not sure I agree with that.
Mistake number 3, not giving reasons for your opinion. Just saying, I think this is good is weak. Say why you think so.
For example, I think this movie is great because the acting is superb and the story is compelling.
Perfect. Giving reasons makes your opinion stronger and more persuasive.
Now let's practice with some dialogues.
Great idea. Let's do a casual conversation between friends about movies.
Hey, did you see that new action movie everyone's talking about?
Yeah, I saw it last weekend. I thought it was amazing. The special effects were incredible.
Really? Personally, I wasn't that impressed. The effects were good, but I found the story a bit weak.
I see what you mean about the story. It was predictable, but for me, the action scenes made up for it.
Fair enough. I guess we just look for different things in movies. What did you think of the acting?
The lead actor was fantastic, in my opinion. Very believable.
I'm with you on that one. The lead carried the whole film.
Perfect conversation. We used so many different phrases. I thought, personally, I see what you mean, in my opinion.
And notice how we disagreed politely without any conflict.
Now let's do a more formal scenario, like a work meeting.
So, everyone, I'd like to hear your thoughts on the proposal to expand into the Asian market. What do you all think?
From my perspective, this is an excellent opportunity. The market research shows strong demand for our products.
I agree with you up to a point, Sarah. The demand is there, but I'm concerned about the costs. In my view, we need more financial analysis first.
That's a valid point. I understand your concern. However, I believe if we delay too long, our competitors will get there first.
You're absolutely right about the competition. Perhaps we could do a pilot program in one city first.
I think that's an excellent compromise. What does everyone else think?
Excellent. That was professional and respectful.
Notice how we acknowledged each other's points before adding our own perspectives. That's crucial in professional settings.
Now let's talk about cultural differences in expressing opinions.
This is so important because different cultures have very different norms.
In American culture, being direct with your opinion is generally valued. People appreciate when you speak up clearly.
Americans tend to be quite comfortable with disagreement and debate. It's seen as healthy and productive.
In British culture, there's more emphasis on politeness and understatement. Brits often soften their opinions more.
Exactly. A British person might say, I'm not entirely sure that's the best approach, when they actually strongly disagree.
Australians tend to be quite direct and straightforward, but with humor.
And in many Asian cultures, being too direct with disagreement is considered rude, right?
Yes, many Asian cultures value harmony and avoiding confrontation, so learning to disagree politely in English is especially important.
That's why it's so important to learn various ways to express opinions in English, from direct to diplomatic.
Now let's talk about backing up your opinions with evidence or examples.
A bare opinion is okay, but supporting it with reasons makes it much stronger.
How do we introduce our supporting reasons?
You can say, I think X because. The reason I believe this is, for example, for instance, let me give you an example.
So instead of just saying, I think remote work is better, I should say, I think remote work is better because it eliminates commute time and allows for more flexible schedules.
Perfect. That's much more convincing. You can also use, in my experience, I've noticed that, studies show that.
In my experience is great because it shows you're speaking from personal knowledge.
Exactly. For example, in my experience, remote work increases productivity because there are fewer office distractions.
What about citing sources or experts?
You can say, according to experts, research indicates that, statistics show that.
These make your opinion sound more credible.
Yes, but remember, in casual conversations, you don't always need this level of support.
Right, with friends chatting about movies, you don't need to cite research.
Now let's talk about changing your opinion or showing you're reconsidering.
Sometimes during a conversation, someone makes a good point that changes your mind.
And that's okay. Being willing to reconsider shows you're open-minded. You can say, you know what, you've changed my mind. I hadn't thought of it that way. That's a good point.
I hadn't thought of it that way shows you're learning from the conversation.
You can also say, I'm starting to see your point, or you may be right about that.
These show intellectual humility, which is actually a strength.
Now let's do a quick vocabulary review of all the key phrases we've learned today.
Perfect. Friends, here are the essential phrases for expressing opinions in English.
First group, basic opinion phrases. I think, I believe, in my opinion, from my perspective, in my view, the way I see it, if you ask me, personally.
Next group, strong opinions. I'm absolutely convinced that. I'm certain that. I firmly believe. Without a doubt. I'm sure that.
Next group, tentative opinions. I tend to think, it seems to me, I get the impression, I would say, I suppose.
Next group, agreeing. I agree. I completely agree. I couldn't agree more. Exactly. You're absolutely right. That makes sense. Fair enough.
Next group, disagreeing politely. I see your point, but I understand, however, I respectfully disagree. I'm not sure I agree. I see it differently.
Next group, partial agreement. I agree up to a point. That's partly true. You're right about that, but...
Next group, asking for opinions. What do you think? What's your opinion? How do you feel about this? What's your take? Any thoughts?
Next group, supporting your opinion. Because, for example, in my experience, studies show that.
And finally, changing your mind. You've changed my mind. I hadn't thought of it that way. That's a good point. I'm starting to see your point.
Excellent review. Practice these phrases, friends.
Now let's do our final summary of everything we learned today.
Here are the key takeaways.
First, expressing your opinion is an essential communication skill. Don't be afraid to share your thoughts.
Second, there are many ways to express opinions beyond just I think. Vary your phrases to sound more natural.
Third, adjust your language based on how confident you feel. Use strong phrases when you're certain, tentative phrases when you're less sure.
Fourth, when disagreeing, always be respectful. Acknowledge the other person's point before sharing your different view.
Fifth, support your opinions with reasons or examples. This makes them more convincing.
Sixth, asking others for their opinions shows respect and keeps conversations flowing.
Seventh, be aware of cultural differences. Some cultures value directness, others prefer diplomacy.
And finally, it's okay to change your mind. Being open to other perspectives is a strength.
The most important thing to remember is your opinion matters. You have valuable thoughts to share.
Whether you're discussing movies with friends or debating policy at work, you now have the tools to express yourself clearly and naturally.
And now our question of the day.
Friends, we have 3 questions. Answer one or all 3 in the comments.
First question, in your culture, is it considered polite or rude to directly disagree with someone? How is it different from English?
Second question, what topic do you have strong opinions about? Try expressing that opinion using phrases from today's lesson.
Third question, which phrase from today's lesson is your favorite? Which one will you try to use next?
We read every comment and we love hearing from you.
Before we go, please give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button.
Click the bell icon so you never miss an episode.
What topic should we cover next? How to give advice? How to make suggestions? Let us know.
From both of us, thank you so much for being here today. Remember, your thoughts and opinions are valuable.
You now have all the phrases you need to express yourself clearly and naturally in English.
Practice these phrases. Use them in real conversations. The more you share your opinions, the more confident you'll become.
Always remember our motto. Every new word plants a seed of thought, and every new phrase gives you the power to express your unique perspective.
Your voice matters. Your opinions matter. And now you have the English to share them with the world.
Goodbye, friends. Speak up, share your thoughts, and never be afraid to express yourself.
Goodbye, everyone. Remember, there are no wrong opinions, only different perspectives. We'll see you in the next episode.
Bye-bye, and remember, your opinion is valuable. Share it proudly.